This is the Talkin Bout The Hoosiers podcast, presented by thehoosier.com. Before we jump into this video, pause it right now and go subscribe to the Hoosier.com website, now a part of On3 Sports, for exclusive content covering the Indiana Hoosiers, including exclusive interviews, live recruiting updates, and much more. Make sure to join our community. We really appreciate it.
And Hoosier Nation, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page. We got plenty more content on here, including more talking about the Hoosiers podcast episodes, recruiting highlights, press conferences, and much, much more. It literally takes 2 seconds. Just do it right now, get it over with, and then go on and let's enjoy this new episode.
Hello and welcome. I'm Zach Bowning, joined by Kyler Staley. We've got some breaking news, Kyler, out of the Indiana basketball world. Welcome into the Hoosier Pod. Welcome into Talking About the Hoosiers, brought to you by thehoosier.com. Lamar Wilkerson, Sam Houston State transfer guard, has committed to Indiana. Kyler, just your initial thoughts quickly.
Yeah, it's a big get. I think it could go down as probably Indiana's biggest get of the offseason when it comes to the transfer portal. It came down to Indiana, Kentucky, and by the way things kind of looked, it looked like the winds were kind of shifting towards Kentucky a little bit. But Indiana had a strong NIL package. Kentucky probably had a similar NIL package, but I think it just came down to fit, right? And I think it came down to opportunity. Lamar Wilkerson's going to come in. He's going to be the star for Indiana, especially in the backcourt. A guy that can just light it up from deep. I mean, he's just phenomenal three-point shooter. Has a chance to be the leading three-point shooter for this Indiana team this upcoming season, but just a monster get by the Hoosiers and a really, really good, I guess you could say, like starting piece for Darren DeVries and his new look Indiana program.
You mentioned the three-point shooting, 44.5% from three-point range on 7.7 attempts a game last season at Sam Houston State. Before we get too deep into the actual who he is as a player quickly, just what does it mean for Indiana to be able to go into a recruiting battle with the likes of Auburn and Kentucky and go head-to-head against Mark Pope and the Wildcats and come out on top in this recruiting battle?
I mean, I think it goes to show you that Indiana is not going anywhere when it comes to competing for these types of players. When Lamar Wilkerson entered the portal, he was immediately one of the top guards in that current group. That a lot of programs, a lot of blue blood programs were going to go after, but Mike Woodson did a really good job over his 4 years of keeping Indiana in those recruiting battles. There just wasn't times where he could land these types of guys, but to show that Indiana can go out and recruit one of the top guards, beat an Auburn, beat Kentucky, like you just said, it just shows to me that Indiana is not going anywhere. Indiana's NIL package, their NIL funds that they have and stuff, really helps them in this regard. And I think Indiana, for them landing Lamar Wilkerson, is just going to show you that Indiana is going to continue to go after these types of guys that are going to be kind of program changers, season after season. So it's big, especially big for Darren DeVries to show that he shows that, hey, I can go against these top dogs. I can recruit against the best, and I can land these types of guys. It got a little iffy the past couple of weeks because Indiana was going after guys, weren't necessarily landing them, but landing Lamar Wilkerson really changes that, and it's going to really open up a lot of things for this Indiana offense.
I think you're exactly right. Real quick, we'll dive into the numbers really quickly. Started all 32 games last season for Sam Houston State, 20.5 points per game, which led Conference USA, 4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 48% from the field, and I said 45% from three-point range as well. Kyler, he's not necessarily a strict true point guard. He's not a guy that's going to light it up as far as the assist numbers are concerned, but he's a combo guard, and he's a scorer. He's a bona fide scorer that can get you 20 a night, as he did this past season. Is he going to come in and be the number one guy, like you said, for Indiana?
I mean, I think on paper, when you look at that, yeah, he's, I guess, technically the number one guy. But the way this team is kind of balancing out right now, obviously there's a lot more pieces to kind of fill. But you look at Tucker DeVries, a guy that can get you a bucket as well. You look at Reed Bailey, that can get you a bucket. Connor Enright, more of that facilitator type of role. But the good thing with Lamar Wilkerson is that you can play him alongside pretty much any guard in that backcourt. Like you said, he's not a true point guard at all. I think it was like 2 assists a game or something like that. He's not going to be a guy that's going to really necessarily facilitate a ton. He can, if you look at our scouting report that we did on thehoosier.com, he can do that, but it's just not his game. His game is like work off the ball, or give him the ball, let him create in the lane, let him be physical. and things like that. So, but I like his versatility as a guard. I like what he can do. You pair him with Connor Enright, whoever other guard that they get, that's going to be the more primary ball handler. I think it's going to be a match made in heaven. So he's going to be a guy that can really give you a lot of options. The defensive side of the ball, a little suspect right now, not going to lie. We're going to see what he can do on that end. But if you get out in transition, you get on that broken floor, like, Coach DeVries has kind of stated that they want to play in, he's going to be a really, really dangerous weapon.
Of course, Indiana's roster is still shaping out. Of course, if Hoosier fans remember, Wilkerson and Sam Houston State played at Assembly Hall this past season. Wilkerson scored 18 points, 2 of 4 from three-point range in that game. Kind of a taste for Indiana fans for what they might get this upcoming season with Wilkerson. He has 1 year of eligibility left, and you kind of touched on a little bit, Kyler. Where do you see him fitting in this offense? How do you see him fitting with guys like Connor Enright, Tucker DeVries, Reed Bailey, and, of course, there's still plenty more names that are coming for Indiana?
I think he's going to fit like a glove. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to take a lot of pressure off of people. And then you hopefully, in turn, a lot of pressure is taking off of him, to be that kind of main guy and everything. But, I mean, just to sum up everything, it's a really, really big get for Indiana. Like, you can't even put into words. Obviously, we've got a ton on the Hoosier.com and everything that's going to kind of break him down. I highly recommend reading his scouting report and seeing what type of player he is. But I think, depending on who else enters the portal, who else Indiana goes after, I just don't see how they get a bigger commitment than what they got right now for them to go out there in the recruiting battle, beat Kentucky, beat Auburn, beat whoever else that were going after him. I think that shows Indiana's here to stay, and I think they can go out and get the top dogs like they did today.
Ranked the number 30 overall player in the transfer portal according to the On3 industry ranking. Lamar Wilkerson is officially a Hoosier, committing to Indiana, choosing the Hoosiers over Mark Pope and the Kentucky Wildcats. Well, that's all we've got on this breaking news episode of Talking About the Hoosiers, brought to you by thehoosier.com. As Kyler mentioned, you can head over to thehoosier.com, check out all of our latest coverage, not only on Wilkerson, but some teammates who could potentially be joining him in the future, some of his teammates who are already on Indiana's roster for next season as well, and all the latest news surrounding the Indiana Hoosiers and the transfer portal, as well as the upcoming football season next fall for Indiana. We've got all of it over there on thehoosier.com. Also, make sure to subscribe to thehoosier.com on YouTube so you don't miss any more episodes of Talking About the Hoosiers. We'll be breaking down all of Indiana's latest commitments live, or breaking down all of the latest commitments as soon as we can. Some breaking news episodes as well as weekly episodes of Talking About the Hoosier as well. Once again, Lamar Wilkerson commits to Indiana over Kentucky and Auburn, the likes of those two. A big get for Darren DeVries and the Hoosiers. That'll do it for this episode, this breaking news episode of Talking About the Hoosiers. Thank you so much for tuning in, and join us next time.